Coming up, dozens gather to talk about flood recovery nearly 11 months later.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. With the one-year anniversary of the flood about 1 month away, many Eastern Kentuckians are still trying to recover. That's why dozens in Perry County gathered tonight to learn about the resources available to help. WYMT's Jack Demler has more from the meeting in Buckhorn.
Last year's flood left a lasting impact on community members, some even losing their homes.
I was speaking with somebody today who slept in their car for 4 days.
Leaving everyone with the task of recovery.
I mean, that's tough to overcome mentally, figure out how to recover best, and then what resources that you have to recover.
That's why the Kentucky River Area Development District hosted a public meeting in Perry County for community members to learn about the various resources available to them. Disaster Recovery and Resiliency Fellow with the St. Bernard Project, Sarah Hambrick, says it provides a space to hear community needs.
It's crucial for the communities to be able to say what they're experiencing because there's no way for us to know.
This allows organizations to create a plan for recovery.
And one of the most important things that we want to do is make the response proportional to the disaster.
The meeting might also give community members a better understanding of where to go next.
I think it gets a lot of information out. I think the main issue is information, the availability of information.
Informing the public of the resources available in an effort to help them recover. In Buckhorn, Jack Demler, WYMT Mountain News.
Hambrick says it's important that members of the community fill out the unmet needs survey for the Department of Local Government, as well as getting a disaster case manager to help them navigate the recovery process. If you missed tonight's meeting, there are still others in some of the other hardest hit counties, and we have that information for you on our website.
Well, watching a few thunderstorms out there this evening. We had a few work on through. Obviously, we had the severe storms last night. We even had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings out there tonight. Stronger than I thought they'd be, certainly, but turns out Future View was right on the money. Here's the look outside from downtown Pikeville, our Pikeville Medical Center. 65 there. You can see some of the lightning off in the distance. We saw a nice bolt of lightning there on the left side of the image not too long ago. So there's more lightning there into downtown Pikeville. No power outages there. You see the city is still lit up. On pinpoint Doppler, nothing severe, but winds gusts to 40 miles an hour, maybe some small hail a possibility as these storms continue working through mostly Floyd County now. Heaviest south of Prestonsburg, south of McDowell as well. Downpour right on top of downtown Haydn and moving into places like Letcher County and southern parts of Pike County over the next little bit. Another storm. Yeah, this one's causing quite a bit of heavy rain just south of the Kentucky River there in Lee County, south of Beattyville, but that works up to St. Helens. A few more downpours down toward McKee and even up to Campton along the Mountain Parkway. So we'll continue to track those out of the region tonight. The good news, they didn't impact areas that were hit so hard last night for the most part. 60s where it's raining. Middle 70s where it's not, as we continue to see those dew points up in the 60s, so it is still muggy. Your forecast first through tomorrow, some fog in the morning. Otherwise, not too bad as we work through the day, middle and upper 60s as you head out the door. Steve, I'll have the latest on when heat works back in the forecast in a few minutes.
All right, Evan, thank you. Well, severe storms certainly pounded Kentucky last night. The National Weather Service says winds up to 110 miles per hour, that's hurricane force, caused widespread damage in Madison County. The city of Richmond was hit particularly hard by damaging winds and large hail. Jessica Umbro spoke with two neighbors who are working on fixing up their homes that were left damaged by the storm.
It really sounded like a bunch of people were just beating on the windows with aluminum bats.
Last night's storm felt different for Richmond resident Chris Clements.
I'm pretty good with storms, but this one kind of got me. It was just really violent very quickly.
Madison County was hit hard last night by high winds, rain, and golf ball-sized hail. The back of Madison Hills Christian Church in Richmond was even ripped off, spreading debris throughout the property. Many Richmond residents woke up to find their windows broken.
You just hear the explosion of the windows blowing in and, you just jump up and do what you got to do.
Including Brian Alderman, who also found his children's swing set knocked over entirely.
So it had to be a really, really strong wind. It took 4 men to put that thing back up.
Despite the storm just passing through, fixing and rebuilding is seen in all of the boarded up windows that are here on the street. Progress that is being helped along by the friendliness of neighbors.
Everybody just kind of comes together and does what they need to do. Everybody was checking on everybody and just to make sure that everyone was okay.
A positive symptom of an unfortunate situation. Clements is grateful for his community's ability to rally behind each other when it's needed most.
Well, it was kind of good to, have a sense of community around here. Everybody was out, trying to help everyone get their boards up and get contractors out here. So it's good to know that, everyone around here wants to help and stuff like this happens.
In Richmond, Jessica Umbro, WKYT.
Well, last check, more than 31,000 customers are still without power across the state. That number was more than 100,000 overnight. Kentucky isn't the only state cleaning up after severe storms over the weekend. The storms are being blamed for several deaths from Indiana, Arkansas, and Georgia. One massive tornado tore through 3 miles of Johnson County, Indiana, near Indianapolis, damaging at least 75 homes. Remember, you can always stay weather aware with the WYMT First Alert weather app, including following those storms out there tonight. It's a way to get the latest radar and weather alerts, even if your power goes out. Scan this QR code or search for it in your app store to download. A Barberville man is accused of assaulting his girlfriend and their infant child. The Knox County Sheriff's Department responded to a domestic violence complaint on Kickapoo Trail. 38-year-old Scott McVie was charged with criminal abuse and terroristic threatening. He was taken to the Knox County Detention Center. His girlfriend and child were taken to the Barberville ARH for treatment. It's been nearly 3 weeks since an apartment building fire broke out in downtown Hazard, leaving dozens of families homeless. Since that day, community leaders have stepped in to try and help them find housing. Currently, 12 families are living in campers at the Perry County Park where flood victims used to be, and with 5 weeks left to find a permanent solution now. Roscoe's Daughter Incorporated founder Kate Clemens says they need those solutions as fast as possible.
These people are worried. Everyone should have a safe place to sleep at night, and these people message me every night over the fear of being homeless again. They still feel homeless now even though they have a camper, but I just know that working together we'll be able to find housing for them.
2 women living in the campers tell us they have called different landlords in the area each day, and so far they have not had any luck. LKLP trained courtroom professionals on how to address victim trauma today. The training was hosted to help them understand the mental health issues their clients may be dealing with. The goal for both the courtroom professionals and the clients is justice, so they have to work together.
How do we get justice for survivors when it's not very easy because the situation is so complex? They don't behave the way that we need them to in the courtroom or say the things that we need them to in order to get justice. And it's because they're not professionals.
Tara Combs hosted 2 trainings today and has more scheduled before the fall in different counties. Kentucky is getting more than $1 billion to help more families connect to high-speed internet. The $1.1 billion grant is from the Broadband Equity, Access, and Deployment Program that was created through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act. According to the FCC, Kentucky has more than 258,000 underserved locations. The state's Office of Broadband Development says starting early next year, they will begin distributing grants to help expand high-speed internet. The Associated Press reported this afternoon that Attorney General Daniel Cameron directly solicited donations from executives of a drug treatment organization that his office had been investigating since last year. Several executives of Edgewater Recovery Centers later gave $7,600 to Cameron's campaign. That money has since been refunded. Cameron recused himself from the investigation. It comes as Cameron's office referred more than $200,000 in questionable contributions to Democratic Governor Andy Beshear's campaign to federal authorities. Beshear's campaign also returned that money. We reached out to Beshear's campaign. They released a statement saying in part, quote, His actions are unethical and must be investigated. The Attorney General's office has an obligation to refer Cameron's actions to the FBI. We've reached out to Cameron's campaign tonight. In a statement, that campaign says, in part, quote, "There were preliminary conversations about hosting an event. Once we were made aware of a conflict, the event was canceled. When they later made online contributions, I recused myself and the contributions were refunded." The 8th annual Love Loud is happening this week in Pike County. Churches from all around have joined forces for a summer of service, some working on landscaping, some washing cars, others doing different service projects throughout the county, all for free. The Pike Association of Southern Baptists organizes the event every year, and those involved say it is their way of living out their faith.
The book of James tells us not to just be hearers of the word only, but also doers of the word, and that's what we want to do. And so Jesus told us that the two great commands are to love God with everything in us and to love our neighbor as ourselves, and that's exactly what we're doing today.
The work continues through the week. The students say they look forward to seeing how they can serve the communities. 2023 brought several announcements for the city of Haydn and Leslie County, including becoming a trail town and adding a new RV park. Haydn Mayor Carol Joseph says she and other city leaders are looking to host more events that will help foster community engagement and provide opportunities that will show people from other areas what Haydn has to offer. This includes more live music, more community movie nights, and more arts and crafts events for kids and their families.
And we also are currently having music in the park. And we have every Thursday night, we have performers in the park and usually food trucks, and people come from other counties actually been coming to that, and they like coming over here. And we always have really good food down there. Leslie County's got a lot of good cooks in it.
Joseph adds the city has also created a community garden at the Haydn City Park to help add more natural beauty to the area and for community members to get involved with. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, you might have thought it was Halloween at the Challenger Center today. We'll take you to the Deer Vampire Theater Camp.
Plus the latest on the storms out there now and when the heat moves in. Coming up.